One thing I would say that's often not focused on is the social element. I think talking to people, talking to other people, making your views known is really important. A lot of times what we see is that most people do care about sustainability, but very few people talk about it. And what happens then is what we call there's this spiral of silence. That means that most people think that other people don't also care about sustainability. They think that they're the only ones that care because nobody else is talking about it. So then they don't feel that they can voice their opinion because they think they're going to be in the minority. But if just a few people start talking about it and start voicing their opinion, then that breaks that spiral of silence. And it shows people that they too can talk about it and they too can publicly show their demand for sustainability. And that helps to break that cycle, and it also helps to establish these strong social norms so that people feel that most other people in fact do care and do support these kinds of behaviors.
The advice I'd give to anyone, anything, organization, or person is that you won't be perfect. You don't have to be perfect, but I do think you need to strive to be better. Sustainability isn't going to be a perfect ideal. It's not going to be the same for everybody, because each person is going to have trials and tribulations of trying to make sustainability work for their home, for their locale, for their institution. We often get messaging about sustainability from other places trying to define it for us. And while that can give us a good working model, it is a very personal pursuit that then is reflected to a larger good. And so when you think about those working at an institution, or those working within a community, or those working at a corporation, sustainability is really nothing more than a collective of shared values of where we want to go for the betterment of now and the future. However that works needs to fit within the boundaries of the communities that we serve. And so that is my advice. Be humble, listen, and share the values to get to a common vision of what success can be. Because if you don't do that, sustainability will never move forward. All the while, the great wicked problems of climate change and inequity are continue to compound. So we all need to get on the same page first, bite your tongue sometimes, and realize that your definition might not be someone else's, but you can get to a shared vision.
I think I just encourage everyone to take very seriously their power as a voter, their power as a purchaser, and the power really of taking as just a broad orientation to life, a focus on sustainability and sort of our part in this much broader project.
The one piece of advice that I would give is try to know as much as you can about some of the challenges with sustainability, and then try to figure out where you can fit in and help. I think the first step is knowledge. I think there's a lot of knowledge out there. There's a lot of places where you can get knowledge and resources to really understand what's going on. And then try to look at that and look at what your daily activities are and how you go about your life and see how can you fit into trying to solve some of these problems. You're not going to be able to solve every single problem. That's too big for any one person. No one's asking that. But a lot of small changes are really instrumental in solving the big problem. But it first starts with understanding. And the understanding is going to be both in a local sense, what's going on in your own community, and in a global sense. Okay, when you go to other communities, how do you operate within that community and follow their guidelines for things?
Taking action day to day through your habits and choices throughout the day actually add up to a lot. So sometimes you hear people say, well, individual level behavior change, it doesn't really matter because what we really need is, policy level and structural shifts that are beyond the reach of just an everyday person. But actually, when you think about it, all of the decisions that we make on a day-to-day basis, along with everyone else around the world and all of the decisions and actions that they're taking on a daily basis, really add up to a lot. And in a high-emitting country such as the United States, where per capita carbon emissions is among the highest in the world, it has even more consequences. So there's all kinds of things that people can do to change their day-to-day life, whether that means, eating less meat or taking public transportation, using less energy, changing the sources, where our energy comes from, and supporting policies that say would help to build a path towards relying on renewable sources of energy, such as solar and wind. But one really important mode of action at the individual level that we can all take that goes a really long way is talking to each other about climate change. I think this is often an undervalued level of taking day-to-day action. If we talk to each other a little bit more about climate change and sustainability challenges, we could be raising our cultural level of awareness around these issues and actually building the kind of broad-based support that's really necessary for those broader level shifts like policy changes and institutional decision making that are going to pave the path to a more sustainable future.
Yeah, this is where I get philosophical, I think. I would say it's important for me to just be present and local to exactly what's happening around me, to turn off my phone every once in a while, go outside, see the things that are growing right there, see the sun shining right there, and feel content with the stuff that we have. Consume a little bit less in one day. I have this fun activity that I do, it's a little ritual I do, where I try to not consume anything once a week. So take one day a week. It's just like my little personal game I play with myself, but just take one day and be super present and super local and not consume anything and eat some food leftover from yesterday and see what that feels like. And you know what it feels like? It feels great. I love it. It makes me feel really happy.